Well, they had us in the first half. Now I knew full well that something was up. I knew Liko and company would not get Entei to join them in this episode. It just didn't seem feasible considering that they just got Kleavor a few episodes ago and that they found Entei way too fast with basically no challenge or obstacles to overcome. So in my mind, there was absolutely no way that they would actually succeed in getting Entei to join the team in this episode. And I was not the only one who felt this way. Well, it turns out that we were right. However, little did we know that the reason why Liko and company would fail to recruit Entei is that while they did find an Entei, they did not find the Entei, which is to say that they found a wild Entei, not Lucius's Entei. Something they realized only after they tried to reason with it, which failed, forcing them to battle it in a pretty cool and decently exciting clash, where they had to work together and Crocalor and Cap had to push past their limits in order to at least have a shot at overcoming the overwhelming power of a legendary Pokemon, which they ultimately failed to do, leading to a stalemate that finally allowed them to realize the truth. Once they saw that Terapagos did not resonate with Entei and that the four heroes did not make an appearance like they usually do. And after Suicune and Raikou showed up to meet up with Entei in an amazing and epic shot that proved that the updated opening was not just showing us a cool visual, and that had me twitching with excitement, believing that, like I predicted, perhaps Liko and company would have to face all three legendary beasts in order to get Entei to join them. Sadly, this is not the case. So like I said earlier, I did not expect this specific turn of events, hence why it shocked me greatly. I love how this series continues to be both predictable and unpredictable in almost equal measure, ensuring that for every prediction we get right, another is disproven, usually in a surprising way, which keeps things interesting. At the same time though, I also facepalmed hard when I saw that they had the wrong Volcano Pokemon. Because when it comes to the heroes, I totally forgot about the fact that there are more than one Pokemon of each species, meaning that it never even occurred to me that it was possible that one day Liko and company would find, say, a Lapras, but not the Lapras. It's hilarious though that of all the heroes, the one they ended up getting bamboozled with in this fashion just so happens to be one of the three legendary Pokemon on the roster, which are of course far scarcer and rarer, meaning that the odds of encountering one that is not the one are far lower than, say, finding the wrong Arboliva or the wrong Lapras. So you got us good, Pokémon Horizons. Well played. We literally got thrown for a loop alongside Liko and friends. We all got fooled together, which is just fantastic, since it's a sign of good writing when you can have the audience experience things the same way and feel the same way as the characters. Like us, they truly believed that they were closing in on Entei. They went to the area where it was supposedly spotted, and they questioned the local fisherman that supposedly saw it, who confirms that he did see it and he's not the only one. Plenty of other people have reported sightings of Entei all over the area. After speaking with said people off screen, they compiled their findings into a map that shows every spot where Entei has been seen, allowing them to pinpoint the place where they are most likely to encounter it. They head there immediately only to find no Entei and no signs of volcanic activity, which would prove that Entei is nearby. They do encounter something odd, however. The fact that there's basically no Pokemon around, suggesting that something scared them off. The one Pokemon they do find is one that shouldn't even be here, a Hauntail, who has no place being on shore since its habitat is the deep sea. Its presence here proves that something is amiss. and this something turns out to be the emergence of an underwater volcano. Knowing that Entei won't be far behind, Liko and company post up next to the fledgling volcano and they lie in wait, keeping watch in turns. At night, their patience pays off when the underwater volcano rises and erupts, which is quite a sight to behold, I must say. It's a very cool moment, especially since it's followed by the appearance of Entei, who stands proudly atop the edge of a cliff with the moon serving as a backdrop. Another really cool shot. Also, it's worth noting that the emergence of the volcano made several Pokemon flee the scene, including a couple of Huntail. So, Liko and friends, together with Freed, who sadly leaves Charizard behind to protect the airship, meaning that it unfortunately ends up being unable to participate in the upcoming battle, approach the mighty legendary beast to employ their usual tactic of trying to use reason to get what they want amicably. But also as usual, this fails, inevitably leading to a battle with Freed and Cap lending a hand like they did with Moltres and they couldn't do with Kleavor. The battle begins with the starters and Cap rushing Entei, who roars, making the starters stop in their tracks, likely intimidated. It's interesting that Dot calls this insane pressure. I wonder if this is a reference to the fact that pressure is Entei's non-hidden ability. Cap, the only one unfazed by the roar, likely due to being stronger and more experienced and perhaps braver too, goes for a Thunder Punch that Entei easily avoids. It counters with Sacred Fire, which used to be Ho-Oh's signature move before Entei was allowed to learn it starting in Generation 6. Fun fact, this is the first time a Pokemon other than Ho-Oh uses this move in the anime. Something only Entei could do since it is the only Pokemon other than the Rainbow Pokemon that can learn Sacred Fire. Fitting given their connection and the fact that they are both Fire-type legendary Pokemon. But anyways, Cap easily avoids the Sacred Fire. Floragato uses Magical Leaf to blind Entei, allowing Crocalor and Quaxwell to use Stomping Tantrum and Water Gun, which seemingly find their target. However, it turns out Entei jumped out of the way. Cap goes in for a Thunder Punch, but Entei counters with Fire Fang. Both moves clash, but while Entei remains unfazed, Cap is knocked back and he takes some serious damage. Cap follows up with Double Team, distracting Entei, which allows Floragato and Quaxwell to land hits with Quick Attack and Liquidation. However, Entei effortlessly takes and shrugs off both attacks like they're nothing. Meanwhile, Crocalor tries to use Stomping Tantrum, but Entei stops him with Extrasensory, which also makes Crocalor easy prey for a Sacred Fire, forcing Cap to intervene by taking the hit instead. Despite taking some serious damage, Cap remains resolute, a testament to how much of a boss he is. He resumes the battle with Double Team, but Entei uses Eruption, which decimates the clones and hits Cap. Floragato also takes a hit, though thankfully Quaxwell steps in with Liquidation to protect her. Sadly, they are not safe for long. While things are looking dire, Cap is still determined to fight to the bitter end, so he uses Bold Tackle. Crocalor, who feels bad because Cap had to take a hit for him, is soon inspired and reassured by Cap's confident smile. Cap is truly a leader through and through. He never gives up, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Better yet, his unwavering determination has the ability to inspire others, even in the darkest moments. This shows the true strength of his character. He definitely deserves the title of captain and the hat that comes with it. So, to stop Bold Tackle, Entei uses Sacred Fire, but Floragato and Quaxwell use Magical Leaf and Water Gun to disintegrate it, allowing Bold Tackle to make contact. Unfortunately, Entei again shrugs off the hit without difficulty. Not even Bolt Tackle can face it. Crocalor, who has just been standing there since Cap saved him, finally rejoins the battle after overcoming the lack of confidence left by his previous blunder. He tries to use Stomping Tantrum once again, and yet again, Entei stops him with Extra Sensory. However, this time, Crocalor refuses to give in, and he manages to break free, allowing him to fire off the Stomping Tantrum. But not just any Stomping Tantrum. This one is stronger, boosted by the fact that the previous one failed, which is accurate to the games. Stomping Tantrum's power will double from a respectable 75 to a whopping 150 if the previous one missed, failed, or was prevented from being used. While this is cool, it also sadly means that this shot, which was shown in the preview, is not Crocalor using a new move like I predicted, or even somehow using one of Entei's moves to power his own like I also predicted. The latter doesn't really matter, of course. The former though would have been more amazing than a boosted Stomping Tantrum, especially because, like I said in my preview discussion, Crocalor has not learned a new move since episode 45, so 33 episodes ago, which is a long time, made worse by the fact that the other starters, Floragato and Quaxwell, learned their latest move in episodes 67 and 71 respectively, which is 11 and 7 episodes ago respectively. Crocalor is long overdue for a new move. So the boosted Stomping Tantrum finds its mark. And while Entei still takes it like it's nothing, this time it at least looks a little bothered. So it definitely felt this one, even if only slightly. Makes sense since it is weak to ground. Crocalor's bravery and resolve earn him praise from Cap, which delights him. Entei soon looks around, clearly observing its wounded and exhausted opponents. Since we went into this episode believing that this is Lucius's Entei, I'm sure we all believed that Entei is evaluating Liko and company here. It's trying to determine if they are worthy. Liko and company certainly think so, which is why Pagogo approaches Entei to speak to it, and why Liko once again tries to reason with it. However, Entei is indifferent, like it has no idea what they're talking about, indicating that something is wrong, which is reinforced by the fact that Pagogo does not resonate with Entei, and the heroes do not appear. Just as Liko and friends are trying to figure out what's going on, something amazing happens. A lightning bolt strikes the island formed by the newly born volcano, and from the resulting cloud of smoke, Raikou appears. Then an aurora appears, and from it, Suicune descends. It soon joins the Thunder Pokémon, and the two of them are soon joined by Entei. After they assemble, the legendary beasts pose dramatically, and they roar in unison as Liko and company watch in awe, which is exactly what I did. There's something about seeing legendary duos, trios, etc. together that never fails to elicit a sense of wonder. It's truly a magnificent sight to behold that always gives me chills. Also, again, this proves that the updated opening was not selling us a dream. This isn't just a cool visual, it actually happened, which is fantastic. So, dawn soon arrives, and with it, the legendary beasts depart, which unfortunately means we don't get to see Liko and company face all three of them. Which, yes, I know this is asking too much, both in terms of there's no way Liko and friends can handle battling 3 legendary Pokemon at once, especially when they couldn't even do much against just one, and in terms of they would need a whole other episode for this, which means more time and resources. But man, wouldn't it have been amazing to see? So with the battle and the subsequent magical event concluded, Liko and company depart. Given all the evidence, Reed correctly concludes that they found an Entei, a wild one, not the Entei, Lucius's Entei, the hero Entei. What are the odds, right? They were looking for a legendary Pokemon and they found one, but not the one. So they just casually found an extremely rare and unique Pokemon only to determine that, oh, it's the wrong one. Well then, next. Like legendary Pokemon grow on trees or something. And they didn't find just one, but three, which is simply insane. Even though they didn't find the right Entei, Liko and friends are still happy since they got to witness something amazing, which includes the birth of a new island. Something Liko surmises might be the reason why the legendary beasts were here. They wanted to witness this. Now there's the question of whether this episode was a waste or not, both for Liko and friends and for us. Well, considering that they got some very good practice for when they do find the right Entei, that Crocalor learned from Cap's grit, which hopefully means he will be braver going forward, especially when faced with other similarly formidable opponents, that they got to see so many incredible things that you don't see every day, and that we still got a pretty good and cool episode that was awe-inspiring. I would say that no, it was not a waste. So the episode cuts to the Exceed company where Amethio tries to learn more about Blackouium by asking the company's director, Crave, who Freed spoke to back when he investigated the company in episode 54. Crave refuses to grant Amethio access to the information he wants since Gibeon has control over all of it. Frustrated, Amethio leaves. It's worth noting that Crave is very distant with Amethio during this exchange. He doesn't even look at him, instead choosing to remain focused on his work. Even his Cinccino pays more attention to Amethio. This treatment becomes even more noticeable and distasteful when Spinel walks in right after Amethio left. Not only does Crave treat him significantly better, like he actually looks at him when talking to him and he even stops working, but Spinel also reveals to us that Crave is Amethio's father, which I somehow did not see coming, even though it makes a lot of sense when you consider his position as the director of a company Gibeon is the head honcho of. So we finally learned the identity of Amethio's father, who had been mentioned a lot prior to this episode. Though we still don't know why Gibeon hates him, his own son. Something that clearly runs in the family because Amethio and Crave obviously don't get along either, and we also don't know why. In any case, as is tradition, this episode answers yet another question and leaves us with more questions. So the episode cuts back to the airship. Liko and company receive a call from Briar, who reveals that an Entei was spotted in Area 0, a place that has a connection to it due to a Pokemon that was supposedly seen there, which is depicted in the Scarlet book. This is of course Gouging Fire, a paradox Pokemon that is an ancestor of Entei. The episode ends with the Rising Bolt Tackler setting course for Paldea, more specifically, its Great Crater. So overall, this episode was pretty good, great even. Sure, going into it we expected it to be far better, as well as more significant, important, meaningful, intense, powerful, etc. Since the preview sold us on something that ended up not being what actually took place. Meaning that by all accounts, we were misled and the episode failed to live up to expectations. Normally, this would be a bad thing, something we would condemn the episode for. However, when you consider how cleverly they fooled us, how shocking it was when we realized that we were fooled, and that even the characters themselves were fooled, it's difficult, if not impossible, not to laugh while praising the episode for surprising us so unexpectedly and so well. Especially since it did not betray everything it promised to do. We came in expecting a battle against a legendary Pokemon, and that's exactly what we got. Sure, it wasn't the best or most exciting such battle thus far, but it was pretty cool nonetheless. Mostly due to the fact that Cap got to be a total badass for the first time in a while, and Crocalor got to shine wonderfully by rising up courageously in the face of such a powerful opponent. While he unfortunately did not learn a new move, he still got something valuable out of the battle. Something that will surely help him in the future. Moreover, it's not like we were completely bamboozled by this episode. We knew something was up. We knew things wouldn't play out as they usually do. And yet, even though we were fully expecting something out of the ordinary, the episode still managed to surprise us. So again, it absolutely deserves to be praised for this. Throw in several awe-inspiring moments like seeing the birth of a volcano and island, the sudden appearance of Suicune and Raikou, and the gathering of the 3 legendary beasts overlooking another impressive showcase of the magnificence of nature, and you get an episode that was simply breathtaking from start to finish. Furthermore, while Liko and company found the wrong Entei, they did learn courtesy of Briar, who I'm glad we got to see again, where they might find the right one, which even included Gouging Fire's first appearance in the anime. So the episode ended up beautifully setting up the next few episodes, which are shaping up to be very exciting. Amethio's father finally being revealed was also a nice cherry on top. So yeah, overall, while it wasn't completely what we expected, this episode still managed to be a fantastic, thrilling, and visually stunning delight from start to finish. Now I'm sure you're eager to check out my reviews of the previous episodes as well, so go ahead and click on the links on screen. Also, if you enjoy what I do and want to help me keep creating content like this, please consider supporting me directly through one of the links in the description below. Thank you so very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.